Hi, today we're going to talk about one more thing about forging intergenerational relationships. You know, the Apostle Paul, when he was writing to his protege Titus, says a few things and some advice for how all these different generations are to act. He says this in verse 2 of Titus chapter 2. Older men are to be sober-minded, dignified, self-controlled, sound in faith, in love, and in steadfastness. Older women, likewise, are to be reverent in behavior, not slanderers or slaves to much wine. They are to teach what is good and to train young women to love their husbands and children, to be self-controlled, pure, working at home, kind, and submissive to their own husbands, that the word of God may not be reviled. Likewise, urge the younger men to be self-controlled. What Paul's trying to say here is that we all have a role to play, regardless of what generation we come from. And that in just sharing our lives together and being together, we begin to kind of train each other up. He says old men are to act respectfully, and older women are to train younger women, and young men are to be self-controlled. And so all these generations come together, and we actually learn from each other. One of the great things that is true about intergenerational relationships, at least I found, is that I learned from every age group. I've learned from children as young as 2 and 3 years old, and I've also learned from people who are in their 80s and 90s. And I learned from people who are about the same age as me. I just feel like this idea that there's only a top-down way to learn is not really how we learn. I learned, for instance, even in filming this, I've hung around with some incredible young adults, and it has taught me quite a bit about myself, about remembering to have passion and to have dreams and vision. When sometimes when you get to be in your 50s like me, you can start to want to settle. And so intergenerational relationships aren't just good for those who are young, but it's also really good for those who are maybe on the more seasoned side of life. I invite you to look around yourself, even this week, and try to begin to forge some of those relationships. Maybe some of them already exist, but oftentimes we need to invite people in. And open your life up to some people who are other generations. Till next time.